super pumped, super excited.
Really?
Still about
Anything interesting happened this week to you, or why are you so excited?
something minor, really. But I think you were there. We had a meeting with Lord Xbox, and I can't stress enough how excited I'm still. I am still. It's wow.
Yes, yes, indeed it is. Before we get straight to that,
Yeah.
just a quick reminder: we are, or Gaming Frontier is a YouTube gaming channel and also a YouTube gaming podcast in iTunes and in TuneIn through Enlace Tech. We are two guys that love gaming, and we like to come here every week and give you our thoughts, predictions, and general analysis of the industry and how it's been evolving throughout the years. And we love it. We are part of the gaming industry ourselves, and so we like to give you that part of that part of the story too. So without further ado, let's talk about something really interesting that happened to us this week. We had the pleasure to be invited to the Xbox FanFest taking place in Mexico City from November the 11th all the way to November the 13th. So I want to start with you, my friend. Just how exciting was this event for us, really?
It was surreal, man. It was such an incredible experience. I mean, just we were invited by Microsoft, by the wonderful people at Xbox. Were like 2 months ago, I think, and I received the email, and the email said that they wanted to have us on the show, and they were planning to have a special meeting with the developers, from Mexico, with Phil Spencer, head of Xbox.
Yes.
Global head of Xbox, right? The one and only Phil Spencer, the one cool dude that we see every year at E3, at Gamescom, at all these wonderful shows.
Someone that we've been really talking about, continuously, right, on the show here, because we really admire the guy. We really think he has done an amazing job in redirecting the Xbox division from that rocky start on 2013 all the way to now with a completely different face, a completely different not a different machine, but a very different way of portraying that machine.
Absolutely.
And a very different focus. So I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Go ahead.
Well, it's pretty much on the same lines, right? We got invited. We went there with the ID at Xbox program, or thanks to the ID at Xbox program, we have a game. You guys know about it. We've talked about it here on the show before. Hunter's Legacy, right?
Right.
And it was truly a milestone to make it, all the way to Steam, right? But we then went a little bit further and worked with Microsoft and Sony to make a port for the consoles. We already announced this. The game is coming to both. And we really were very, very surprised when the mail came for an invite to the FanFest. Now, the FanFest took place in 3 different days, the first of which was a more exclusive event, right, where only 500 fans were granted access to it. Phil and other Microsoft execs like Aaron Greenberg and Dan Ayub and Larry Herb obviously was there too. Some other important people from Xbox Global were there, gave a conference, little sneak peeks of information, very much localized, nothing, nothing huge, really, some release date for products here in Mexico and whatnot. And then afterwards, as you mentioned, we were fortunate enough to be able to go to this little office over there and talk with Phil Spencer himself alongside the rest of the Mexican studios that are part of ID at Xbox. The meeting was really thrilling, was really something else. We've now confirmed first person, right? First, like on-site live, that the guy is a really, really down-to-earth, guy, not just suit like a lot of people have been in important, positions in different industries around time.
He doesn't even wear a suit, so
that's absolutely right. Yeah,
that's
he
cool.
goes around in tennis shoes and
jeans
and whatnot.
Shirt,
and
t-shirt.
it's not just a front, right? We talked to him. We were able to share a couple of thoughts with him about the industry, about Mexico and our place in that industry globally. And he was like really like just another supportive person, right? If you don't know the guy, you might not even think that he's that much of a big deal inside such a big company, because he is really very honest, very frank, very straight to the point, but grounded. And it's really an honor to talk with him and to share our thoughts and impressions with him. And so yeah, we were in this meeting, and I want to ask you, what did we take from it? What was really, the one thing we could grab from that experience? Now, granted, it was not a very long meeting,
Yeah.
but it was, a good opportunity to be there and to leave that dream for a little bit. So, what do you took from it?
For me, it was that it's possible to achieve anything that you really want to. I mean, meeting Phil Spencer, it wasn't really our dream, but more of our like fantasy, like something like we we dreamt of, but we saw like an impossible thing to achieve, like something very very far away. So, but we as fans of Xbox and gaming, we were like, oh, it would be so cool. Imagine just meeting the guy, and we did it. And we finished school less than a year ago, both of us.
Yeah.
And we met Phil Spencer not as fans of Xbox. Well, we are fans, but we met him as developers, as partners of Microsoft. And yeah, for me, it's a lot about it's possible to do this stuff. It's possible to achieve really anything you really want to and go high enough. And it's a lot about just the message that I want to get out to developers and people that are aspiring to be developers for Xbox and consoles really, and that it's something that isn't impossible like it was a few decades ago, right? It's now that it's now something that you can actually do, and Microsoft has the tools to let you do that, and it was something surreal and incredible for me and for you as well, and for everyone at the studio. I mean, just before the game even the event even began, just seeing the picture, this promo for the event on Xbox Mexico's Twitter feed, with the 8 games available at the show, and we saw Cuphead, we Happy Few, and above those in that picture, our game Hunter Legacy. That was like, what? Like, this isn't happening. This is so surreal. And then on the show, during the media briefing, we saw this screen, this display on screen, this image with 5 of those 8 games, and one of those being our own Hunter Legacy. That was wow. That was incredible. That was surreal. And during the event, during the show, everything was so special. The people at Xbox, Microsoft, and the ID at Xbox team had a wonderful way of making us feel at home, right?
It's great that you mentioned actually ID at Xbox. We've got a couple of interviews in, and one of them asked us, about that experience, right? About how to encourage other developers out there to go out and reach out to the program. And we were really thrilled to share our experience with it. And again, we want to say this and reiterate it once more. There's no fear in it. It really, you have to take away that factor of frightenment when you want to do something like this, right? We apply to the program because we're just tossing stones, see what sticked. And the guys at Xbox really, quickly responded and embraced us with this program and gave us the opportunity and the chance to portray and showcase our game.
Yeah.
And the same can apply to anyone out there that has a game, and that, as long as you have the hours and the quality and the effort and, obviously a good product, which most of you probably, it's a lot of people out there with great things in mind and great things working, reach out and you just might have an opportunity like this. It's not really as hard. We were embraced, and we're really thankful for the opportunity. And also, a huge, we've talked about Phil and plenty, but there's also a lot of other people we were able and grateful to talk with, people like Esteban Lora, who are, partners of Microsoft globally, some people from Xbox Mexico, I don't really remember the last name of the girl, Tere. Rodriguez, who is a PR executive on Xbox Mexico, to Juan Carlos Plasencia, who was our handler with the ID at Xbox program, and a lot of different names that I'm sorry, guys, if I don't mention every one of you, or if we don't mention
a lot of people
along the show, but
we're
really thankful with all of you guys. As far as the ID at Xbox program go, I want to know your thoughts, your opinions on not just, the process of going in, but also, once in there, what we were able to see, right? What we were able to share with the other developers, how good, how bad, how much can we get from it, and how much more can we expect it to go, beyond this point?
You could smell a lot of excitement over at the idea at Xbox's place on the
Smell.
show.
I like that that action.
Yeah, and there was a lot of excitement among, young developers just bringing their games over to the Xbox One console platform, and there was a lot of good vibes in there. A lot of friendships just began for us over there, and it was such a cool thing to experience over at this wonderful place. We were talking about during the last day when we were leaving the place of the expo of the show. When we were leaving the place, we felt nostalgia. We felt
Absolutely.
sad about leaving that place, and that is one of the best signs you can possibly have about any experience out there, right? Just being sad about it being over, even though we were tired as hell.
Yeah.
My feet were just completely done, but I wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep having fans over at our chair playing Hunter Legacy. I wanted to keep talking to the press, to keep walking around the show and seeing all the excitement, even the excitement of people just watching a Just Dance competition, which I don't care about Just Dance, but just watching that excitement and sharing this big hall with thousands of people that are fans of Xbox and thousands of people that enjoy the same hobby that we do. That was such a great experience, and then just going back to the Idea at Xbox booth and just seeing the line for the indie games and just having a line for our own game. That was such an incredible thing, such an amazing experience that I don't know. I really don't think. It's almost like I don't feel that we deserve that much praise.
Right.
And we got a lot of praise from people from Microsoft and Microsoft Mexico and Xbox Mexico, and even the guys at Xbox and Microsoft over the US. They talked to us like we were heroes, right? Like we were doing something spectacular, and that was something that I still can't grasp, really.
Right,
It's something incredible. And on Saturday we got to the show before it began, because we have early access to the thing, right? So we were walking on the expo and we found Mayor Nelson just walking by,
That's right.
and of course we approached the guy and talked to him. Cool as hell. Larry here is, it's such a cool personality, such a cool person. We had a great talk with him. We even talked about the altitude and Mexico City and
Right.
a lot of random stuff, right? But the coolest thing is that we told him which one was our game, and he was like, "Oh, I'll be there in a couple minutes," right? So, yeah, we went back to our to the Idea Xbox thing. I remember the entry for the show, it wasn't open by that time, and people were still in line to enter the show. And like 10 minutes later, I was sitting down playing one of the other indie games, and I turned to my right, and I saw Mayor Nelson walking towards me.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "So I'm here. Which one is it?"
Yeah.
And I was just grabbing the controller, and I started shaking. I was like, "Oh my God,
He actually
did-
came.
He did come to play our game."
Right.
And I immediately I just told him that's the game. That's the one. The Hunter Legacy thing. And he sat down and just sat down with him, and he immediately talked to us, and he was asking you, "Tell me about the game, and show me the game." And then he grabbed the controller and he started playing through the game. Then the camera people went over to our place and just started filming. And he was like, "This is Mayor Nelson for Xbox. We are here at the Xbox FanFest at the Xbox booth playing Hunter's Legacy." And that is just to the camera with a microphone. Mayor Nelson sitting down there. That was, wow. I was so nervous but so excited, so pumped. Just one of those fantasy things, right?
Right,
One
yeah.
of those magical moments in our lives. It was such an incredible thing, and we did this interview with him that lasted quite a while, right?
It did.
A good, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And after it finished, he just stood up, said goodbye to us, and just went and just left. And I was like, "Whoa!" So he came to play this
Yeah.
game, and that was like, wow.
Yeah. Talking about surreal things, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just having just the very
Absolutely.
fact, right? The very fact of having hunters there with great games, huge games like other Mexican games like Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah.
Other internationally renowned games like We Happy Few, Cuphead, Ark, Scorched Earth. Having being in the same space, being treated with the same amount and level of respect that all those other games that we've praised and that we've looked up to, was amazing. And then having Larry Herb come to our little booth and sit down and play Hunters and be the only game that we saw him play, right? Like not out of because he was showcasing something or he was showing something elsewhere or anything. That he came because he really just was curious about it and asked us about the game. Have him go there, play specifically our game, and sit down with us and have a nice chat. It was like we were dreaming, right? It was, as you mentioned, fantasy world. And we were very lucky to have him there. We were very lucky to be able to have the camera guys come over and film the thing, which we were not expecting at all. Having that experience was huge. Now, obviously, Larry is a great guy, and absolutely, he went there and he gave us specifically the chance. But I also want to make or give a shout out to the rest of the people there. The Oribe brothers with their game Son Pantli. Pablo Grignani. Grignani, yeah, there you go. He's actually from Argentina.
Yeah.
An Argentinian studio made Dogos, their game, already out.
Available now for PS4 and Xbox One.
Absolutely right. And Lune with Suki and the Shadow Claw. Which is not yet. No, it's not yet out.
It's not available yet. It's still in development. Phenomenal looking game.
Yeah. Amazing. A very cute protagonist. Yeah. The Kerbal Space Program games, guys. I mean, they need no introduction, right? Yeah. Those other studios that were there and that showed their games and that have amazing games, really amazing looking games, and they deserve all this and more praise, right? So that's for Larry and on Saturday. Then we had along all those 3 days a lot of people coming in. There was this one surreal moment, as you mentioned before, where Cuphead, which was the biggest game being showcased, or the one with the most renowned or most well known, if you may, and this our the one Xbox guy which was there with us and rearranging people and making the line progress and whatnot. He told us like, oh, look at that. Did you ever imagine that you would have, people in line waiting to play your game and that Cuphead, it's, empty right now. There's no one playing it. There's no one waiting to coming to play Cuphead. And we were like, whoa. No, we were not expecting something like that.
I hope that means something, man, about that game. But yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yes, it was. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what more can we say other than going all fanboys here and start telling our stories and whatnot. Is there anything else that you want to add? Anything else we're missing?
It was just very awesome, just having the chance to exchange words and meeting a lot, dozens and dozens and dozens of fans that came over to our booth and played. I even think we had hundreds over the course of these 3 days. Hundreds of people playing just Hunter's Legacy, and it was just so cool. Just having all of them and talking with them and hearing what they had to say. And a lot of them just were very excited about meeting the developers behind the game that they just played. Yeah. Which is a first for many people, really. Many people have not ever experienced something like that, and they were excited about that. And we. It's definitely my favorite part of my job, really. Just being able to meet the player, meet the person that sat down and played our game, and talking with him or her, and that was such an incredible thing for me to experience. It was so moving, so unbelievable, and I can't wait to experience that thing again. And a quick shout out to Enrique Hernandez Falcon, who is the Xbox guy that was over at the at Xbox booth, just helping all the developers with the line and just managing that kind of stuff. He was an amazingly cool guy. Thank you, Kike. It was such an honor to meeting you, and an honor having you over there, helping us with this mess because it was it was chaotic. I mean, the line to get into the show was 4 or 5 hours long.
Yeah.
They expected around like 6,000 people. They got double that or more. I think it was such an incredible thing. And also a quick shout out to Juan Carlos Plasencia, which is our direct contact over at Microsoft Mexico, who's the guy that handled us and the guy that was our link to the company, and his attention to us was exceptional. And thank you, man. Thank you, bro. It was such an honor meeting you, and can't wait to go back to Mexico City and hanging out with you again.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I don't think there's much more we can add that's actually relevant to the show.
Right,
there's a lot more that we can add that
we can talk about this for hours.
Absolutely. It was really an adventure, and but I mean, for what pertains to the show, I think that's the important things. There were a couple of announcements that were made during the show, very again localized, like a Gears of War circuit. It's kind of this little league, if you may, of Gears that's going to be taking place in the country. Also for Halo Wars, was it? Okay, I'll get back to you.
They had something about that.
Yeah, the announcement of, finally the release of the Xbox One S here in Mexico, which is going to be happening probably by the time you already see this. It'll be already out, which is great because the console, we've praised it also a lot here. It's great for the price it has and the, Ultra HD Blu-ray player and the 4K scaling. It's a great price for a good console. If you don't have an Xbox One, this might be a great opportunity for you to get one.
It is, definitely.
And I think as far as announcement go, that's about it. I think, did they announce the release date for Dead Rising, or was that already public?
I don't know.
Coming on this December.
December, yeah.
That's right. So if you guys want to, slaughter some zombies for Christmas, then you might have a chance here with Dead Rising.